What we're going to do here is I'm going to show you a process to take 3 hours worth of content, break it down into 3 different chunks, and we're going to process this information to see what's the signal in this and from this Senate hearing on artificial intelligence. I know the first few videos were on trading and investing. It's my passion. It's how I make my money. It's what I spend a lot of my time on. However, we do not live in a bubble of just the stock market. We live in a world where there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of disruption happening right now across multiple domains, including artificial intelligence, Bitcoin, blockchain technology, genomics, multigenomics, biotech. There's just a lot of disruption. So we want to pay attention to the main technologies that are happening, of course, robotics, just to stay up to speed, but also become the kind of person that's aware of what's happening so you can adapt your portfolio or your business decisions or your life decisions based on these upcoming changes that are happening. So there's this term called the technology S-curve, and that's just the rate that new technology gets adopted. And artificial intelligence essentially started with ChatGPT in year 2023. So we're essentially in year 2 of what normally a technology S curve. It takes about 30 to 50 years before the whole world adopts it. So we're very, very early in the AI S curve. So I'm paying attention to what's happening in the space. One of the ways to do it is this. Now, I like to pay attention to the signal in the space. Sam Altman's a signal. Jensen Huang from NVIDIA is a signal. There's a lot of different signals. But what I like to do is to save myself some time, because I'm not listening to this for 3 hours. I'll come down to the transcript. It's a 3-hour transcript. I'm already aware that you have to break these into 1-hour chunks. It won't take all 3 hours worth of transcript. So keep that in mind. Usually can do about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at a time. So we're just going to stop at an hour. We're going to make it into 3 chunks, and I'll show you my process. So be patient, put me on 2 times speed, do what you gotta do. I'm not editing this. Pop over to ChatGPT. Right, so we already did that. I was very specific. I told ChatGPT what I'm gonna do, and I gave it specific instruction to not do anything until I'm finished. So now it should say something like, okay, what do you want me to do? No, it already went forward and started working before I gave it instruction. Boom, I gave it specific instruction with particular emphasis, high-level insights on how I can position my portfolio to benefit. Let's see what it says. The super cycle is just getting started. We are just early to the S-curve, especially on infrastructure build-out, enterprise adoption, and AI-native apps. Generative AI is entering its iPhone moment. Told you very early. Everyone building on top of foundational models, and new app layer opportunities are emerging weekly. Massive capital is flowing into semiconductors, energy, data infrastructure, and security, the backbone of AI. So yeah, this is fantastic. If you weren't aware of this, all you had to do was just have the right variables in place. There's a YouTube video, there's a transcript. We're going to copy and paste that into ChatGPT, the most transformational tool that exists on this earth right now. And before you know it, you're not even finished the first chat and we already have investing opportunities. So I already have all these mapped out. So they're not interesting to me, but I'm just kind of sharing you how to use technology to round out your portfolio, to think differently, and just shedding light on how to use ChatGPT for one, because I use it every single day, and I think it's super important, especially with trading journals and really anything else. If you want to learn more about that, let me know. Stay overweight AI infrastructure, chips, GPUs, data centers, power. See, this is interesting because, again, I told you we're in year 2 or 3 of a 30-year curve. Infrastructure build out, that's like happening as we speak. So last week or a couple of weeks ago, there's this company called Oklo, publicly traded company, OKLO. I'm not an investor in that company. It's not financial advice, but I see that as a long-term win. Because they do small modular reactors, which essentially is they can just build essentially a data center full of small modular reactors to power these AI applications for Google and Amazon and NVIDIA. The whole point is the president also just announced like $1 trillion or something in new investment coming into America. So if you haven't noticed the trend shift, there's a lot of onshoring coming to America. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built. And if you pay attention to the energy policies, the United States is about ready to unleash every form of energy imaginable for the main reason to build out our AI infrastructure, because it is a game theoretical technology that you have to adapt as fast as possible and use it as often as possible, because everyone who does that first is going to have a massive advantage over those who don't. So that's the key here. Massive capital is flowing. So we're in the infrastructure build out, which is why we're early in the S curve. Once the infrastructure is built out, then the applications are going to explode. So we have a very good time over the next few years. If we just pay attention, we cut through the noise, and we become very clear about what our goals and objectives are using technology. Capture the margin stack. Companies owning critical AI stack layers: compute, model, infrastructure, application. Chips are the new oil. Wolf. That was a stock I was in a while ago. 2024, I made some money on it. Saw the trend before anyone else did. That's usually how it works. Chips the new oil, AI and energy, the real arms race. Steady power, ASTR. Yeah, again, there's a big competitive race happening with every country. Every country is going to have to adopt their own artificial intelligence strategy or risk being left behind forever. That applies to businesses, that applies to large companies, that applies to individuals. Literally everyone has to have an AI strategy to maintain competitive in the coming era that we have stepped into. Okay. You can read all that on your own. Right here. That's the key. Do your own research. Who else in the small modular reactor space? Publicly traded companies in the SMR space. Okay, no scale power. Oglo. Cameco. I think they do uranium. I'm not going to press enter because I've used ChatGPT over thousands and thousands of hours, and the answer is probably going to be very, very specific to me. But I would implore you to duplicate this demonstration in your own ChatGPT, get to the point that we're at, and then put this, or just put this to start off with and see what you get. I'd be curious to see what your GPT comes up with in the comments. So that's it. I just kind of want to share with you something a little bit different. I showed you an important piece of information that I think needed to be processed just to stay up to speed with what's happening. I showed you how to consolidate that information into high-level insights using ChatGPT, and then how to ask a couple follow-up questions, and just to kind of explain how I'm thinking about all this, because again, we're in a period of disruption, of chaos, and that invites opportunity. So if you're prepared, you have the right mindset, you have the right skill set, or you're willing to learn the right skill set, to leverage yourself and your skills and your talents and your resources into advantage, well, the right tools are there, and we're just going to keep posting some videos that I think are valuable. If you like them, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to see some specific content, let me know. I'm shooting from the cuff here. I'm not editing any of these videos. I just want to provide value during this pivotal moment as we move forward to the AI era.